right, folks, we have liftoff, and welcome back to Flyby Shine Presents, a drone cleaning show. This is your host, Rick McCluskey, joined once again by Jared Dillon. How you doing today, Jared?
Doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Hanging in there, man. We are still trying to figure this podcasting thing out, so if anything looks weird, sounds weird, then I don't know what to tell you.
Getting there, slowly but surely.
Yeah, slowly but surely. I'm sitting here looking at this thing, and I'm like, God almighty, what is going on? But then everything's okay. I guess I'm so used to something happening that I'm looking at a perfectly operating, functional system and like, okay, well, this has to be off. Something's wrong. But I guess we're good. So, and you guys will let us know. Let's get into it. All right, we'll get into some news and notes real quick. We're going to try to make it somewhat of a quick episode today. As y'all know, we're coming up on I guess we are we're out of the off season. I mean,
I guess so.
What's the weather looking like? We're going to get another cold snap?
I was for sure we were going to get one more cold snap.
I know they were talking about like February 16th.
Yeah, everything, according to Weather Channel and local news, at least right here in Madison, it's all trending upwards. So I hope it stays that way.
Now the rush is on. It's time to get going.
It's go time.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, we'll get into some news and notes. And I know we've had this one time before, or we've had news from this entity one time before. And every time we get something from them, nothing ever positive comes out of these guys.
No.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if it makes you feel better, it's not just us. It's every doggone contractor in the U.S. has to deal with this. But unfortunately, this one is specifically for us.
Yep.
All right. We are looking at some new information coming out of the FAA no, this wouldn't be OSHA. This is just FAA. I'll get my wits together here in a minute.
It should be just FAA.
Yeah, okay. FAA is fining drone operators up to $75,000. Good Lord. All right. So key points to hit on this. In 2025, the FAA fined and suspended multiple drone operators, and the violations included flights near major sporting events, flights around emergency response scenes, flying in restricted airspace. So a couple of those, I don't think they're going to apply to us. If you're trying to clean around an emergency response scene, you better have enough sense about yourself not to get too close.
Right.
And I would also think that the customer around emergency response scene probably going to shut you down anyhow. There's just too much going on, hustle and bustle. And then flights near major sporting events.
That's a known.
Yeah, I
would think it's a known thing.
I don't think we would see much of that. You know, maybe you're close to a college football stadium or a pro stadium. I mean, what are they saying near? I want to see the definition of near.
So what that means, at least as far as the FAA, is you're flying over crowded areas. So even like in like a regular, just a map or anything like that, you have to maintain a certain altitude above populated areas. So like, depending on the aircraft and stuff like that, again, I'm not entirely sure the drone, but like for small single engine aircraft, overpopulated areas, you have to be at times 1,000 feet above them, 1,500, 1,200, somewhere in that range. Whereas like if you're just in the middle of a field, you can be around like 500 feet. But they want you to be out of the way and not close to populated areas.
You know, for the sake of drone cleaners, we often look at it as, you know, we're in the clear because we're up next to a building. It ain't like you're going to be washing, you know, Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Sure.
While it's happening.
No.
However, if I'm reading this right, the FAA is signaling, hey guys, stuff that you've been getting away with, we may not let you get away with it anymore. So does this mean, you know, for instance, I've been out in Vegas.
Right.
Vegas Stadium, I mean, within eyesight, you got industrial areas. If, you know, you get contracted, someone says, hey, you need to come clean this warehouse, but you only can do it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's say the Raiders have a game that Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we're not going to be close to the stadium and we're not going to be flying above the stadium, But is this something that the FAA is going to say, hey, you were within a quarter mile of the stadium without clearance? Here's $20,000 fine. I would think not.
I don't think so. When I look at this, I think that drone like flying over like a densely populated area or like a sporting event is, well, they're getting footage that they're not having to pay for, like through a streaming service, or they didn't pay for a seat. So that's also a downside.
But on these sporting events, is the airspace going to be down to the ground?
I think that what that event was, they were probably flying over the top of the stadium. So I like, if you're away from it, and again, like a drone, if you're cleaning a warehouse, you're probably not going to be above 100 feet.
Sure.
I could be wrong, but I just really don't see. And I'm hoping that I'm right in this instance, that if you're a quarter mile away and you've put a drone up in the air and you stay under that sub 400-foot ceiling, hopefully you're not going to get flagged for that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we've maybe cleaned a location on a Tuesday, close to a college football stadium, it's just a note. It's just, hey, be aware on these days there's going to be something happening. Now, I haven't cleaned a location when that event is happening, so I'd be curious, maybe someone knows does that change the airspace for that temporary time that, hey, within this radius, it's down to the ground.
Yeah.
You need to get clearance.
It could be.
Guys, I would urge you to check in on that. We didn't research that part of it, but here is one that I'm sure everyone listening has flown dirty at some point. They haven't gotten their clearance to fly because it's a smaller job or something, but restricted airspace. Guys, we use an app called Open Sky, and it's typically really, really, really simple. We've only had a couple of occurrences where we didn't get automatic approval.
Yeah.
Most of the time we get, as soon as we hit submit, we got approval, you're ready to rock and roll. That'd be for 12 hours, and then you can do another 12 hours after that. Whatever you need to do, you can do it for multiple days at a time. But there are also times where, we may be going into a place that's a little sensitive. I know one of the local hospitals here, a major hospital, it took a little while for us to get clearance. We're getting ready to do some flights down in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, a couple in particular, going to be within Keesler airspace. And I've dealt with that before, and we didn't have much of a problem, but, every time you submit, something different can happen.
If they got something going on, it could be.
So back to this news story that we see, the FAA is telling you, don't be surprised if we come after you for this stuff now.
Yeah.
If you don't get clearance and you get caught, we're coming after you. Let me tell you, if you're next to a major military installation and you're taking that type of chance, up here in Jackson, now look, I ain't trying to jinx nobody, but I think the FAA may not be staffed well enough to keep up with all of us. Not saying we're out there abusing it. I'm just stating what reality is. Down there, it ain't just the FAA you're going to be worrying about.
Yeah. That's federal.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's a military installation.
Yeah. It's not just your state.
Yeah.
Worrying about.
No, they're going to come have a talk with you. And the unfortunate thing is, this story, it cites fines up to $75,000 per violation. Several occurrences where licenses were suspended or revoked. Even unlicensed operators can be fined. In what it says, the 2026 policy update is legal action required when operations endanger the public. And to me, it's just left up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Whoever the fella is with the little book with the tickets in it,
it's kind of going.
I mean, I'm sure that he can make the case for endangering the public in any way, shape, or form. Which may get into a little bit about our main segment, which is job layout and safety.
Right.
Always fun talking about safety. But, this isn't just a hobby enforcement. This is commercial accountability. Yeah. The FAA is telling us if you operate in a way that endangers the public, you're not subject to legal action. We're taking legal action.
Yeah, they're not going to talk about it. They're going to do something.
And to me, it's just not worth it. You are spending a nice little chunk of change on a wash drone, and that's not even counting the equipment that you got to
Yeah.
have that's going to, support that operation. And then you're taking the time to get the part 107, and then you're just going to go out there and not register a doggone flight for a morning and get
Yeah, it's
busted.
not worth it.
Man, no, sir. And then knowing my luck, I'm going to get an FAA guy that's having a bad day, just had a bad argument with his wife, and I'm going to
Yeah.
get lit up.
You'll get happy with that ticket book.
Man, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the new guys, they think the big risk is just crashing the drone. They don't, the FAA thinks the big risk is you hurting someone.
Rules and regs, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into this game, it's part of the game, and I know I'm guilty of it too. Some of us just kind of take that with a grain of salt, and we, as I like to say, fly dirty. You get to the job site, and you're like, oh man, I forgot to get my airspace reserved. Well, FAA's putting you on notice. If they catch you, they're going to fine you. That's pretty much cut and dry, plain and simple. So just download an app like Open Sky. It doesn't take long to get the airspace and reserve the airspace. Shoot, they're probably going to give it to you quickly because, like you said, you ain't flying but about 100 feet.
The height of the building.
Yeah, and you're right up against the building. Like I told one of the air traffic controllers at these hospitals that have helicopters coming in and out. If I'm in the way of a helicopter,
there's more issues.
Yeah, that helicopter pilot has got more issues on his mind than me.
Yeah.
But I understand it. Might as well. It's a privilege that we have. We might as well take it seriously. Okay, moving on. Let's see. All right, so today's episode. The real risk is the environment and not the surface. And guys, I'm not talking about tree hugger environment, and we gotta make sure we're using bio-friendly chemicals, which we try to do. Be good stewards of the land that we're given. But I'm talking more about the work site environment and just making sure you have control from a safety standpoint. And this keeps you out of a nice little lawsuit, which could turn into a big lawsuit.
Yeah, never fun.
And it's some things that we think are common sense, and some things that you may be like, hey, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
But most guys that get into the wash drone side of the industry, we're most of the time not heavy in the residential game.
No,
we're big commercial. And what comes along with big commercial? First thing comes to mind is heavy foot traffic.
Yeah.
Sensitive landscape, or elaborate landscape, I guess we'd say.
Yeah.
You go to that little old lady's house and you burn up a rose bush. Yeah, she's gonna light you up on Google. However, if you have to come out of pocket to replace a rose bush or two, it typically don't hurt too bad. You go to a big nice commercial establishment and you operate recklessly, you may have a nice commercial landscaping bill that you're going to pay for.
Yeah, those aren't fun.
No, and that's how a job gets turned upside down on you. So, yeah, and a lot of the new guys, they think about pressure and not movement. And most incidents, they don't happen because of pressure. They happen because of movement. But just some of the things that we would say to be cognizant of is, overspray, drift. And I like to think that when guys are, I know this, when guys are up on a man lift, if they're 50 feet in the air and they're spraying with a gun, it's no different spraying it with a drone.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
But you have to keep in mind that drone is you're going to have the ability to, let's say, move 30 feet a lot quicker than that man lift will. And, with us, it's a standard operating procedure. And most of the time, we're not just going to keep spraying as we're moving and repositioning and all that. Right. That's why we have all of our equipment on, remotes. I'm a big fan of killing the chemical or killing the water and not spraying anything as you move. Now, some of the new guys that come in, if you're not working with places like Midwest, you may not have a remote. And if you operate in a Comet, then you can kill it with the drone controller, but I see guys all the time, they just keep that thing spraying, and as they're moving, and, you know, we operate a MoFlow or multiple MoFlows and Comets, and you just put your new Comet
I
on a
do.
remote. You know?
And it's a game changer, man, because there's a practical side of
Mm-hmm.
it. If you have to keep that drone spraying, yeah, you can turn the servo and turn it off,
Mm-hmm.
and that Comet, they are meant, if you have an ample suggested by this manufacturer,
25-foot bypass.
25-foot bypass hose, yeah, it can withstand that back pressure long enough. But why? If you can help it, a remote is not that big, that much more of an investment to put that machine on a start-stop. Why would you? Dude, you're going to get so many more hours in working. You're not going to have near as many leaks out of it. It's worth it. And there's the practical side for the sake of the drone. You're not having to move and spray chemical while you're moving. And then when you turn that machine off, you're draining that line. So it's giving that drone a lot less weight to move.
So your battery life's going to be enhanced.
Exactly. Longer flights, easier flights.
And with the MoFlow, we don't kill the machine. We engage the clutch.
Right.
And that just makes life so much easier, because if you think moving a hose with a Comet is intense.
Yeah, move it with a MoFlow.
Yeah. When that MoFlow has got the hose filled up, that drone can almost stand up on the hose.
Yeah, that thing will bow up.
Yeah, it gets pretty stiff on us. So we like to kill it, and you know, just when we get relocated to where we need to be, we'll start over. You know, we'll engage it, or we'll, you know, we'll turn the Comet back on, and we're back moving. Everything's good to go.
Yep.
But you know, the big thing that we always see when we're going to commercial jobs is going to be foot traffic.
Absolutely.
And you need to have a game plan. You know, last episode I mentioned some things that you're like, you know, you may not know this until you get on the job site.
Right.
The job starts. Your foot traffic plan doesn't need to be something you figure out the day of.
Yeah, you need to have that.
You need to be communicating with the customer. Matter of fact, I urge you to have it in your terms and conditions.
Yeah. That
the customer is they're going to help you divert foot traffic out another entry exit, or B, they're going to be responsible for whatever happens.
Yeah.
And I've had it both ways. You know, I've had a customer. Matter of fact, it was a massive job that we did. They were like, yeah, we're not going to divert foot traffic. Now that they can't, they said we're not.
They don't want to.
Didn't make any sense to me. But, you know, that job, I was willing to deal with it, and so we dealt with it. But along with heavy foot traffic, you know, 9 times out of 10, that means there's a parking lot close.
Yep.
And so when we're talking about drift from the drone, or, I mean, it can even be from the gun, the water. I mean, if you're shooting the water balls, the orange gun, the 750, I mean, you're getting some chemical and some water way up there anyways, 40, 50, 60 feet.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that, you need to be a little cognizant. Are we in a little bit of action over there? What's happening?
No, it's all right. We should be good.
Oh boy, the robots are trying to take over again.
Yep.
But if you're shooting that water balls up and you're right there at the edge of a parking lot, you're gonna be shooting some overspray.
No, absolutely.
So another thing you probably need to talk to the customer about before the job starts. You know, Mr. or Mrs. Facility Manager, we need to rope off this row of parking that's right up against the building.
Yep.
And who knows, you know, if you're in a situation where the wind's getting real bad, you may have to tell them, look, can we get the next row moved? Because SH.
Yeah, SH and clear coat do not mix.
They don't mix at all.
I've heard horror stories of people having to take insurance, file on their insurance for ceramic coatings, because you get 6 to 8% on some ceramic coating, it's gone. And
the customer's going to know it was you, because when they come out, they may not say it right then, but there's a little bit of haze on their windshield. That's how they notice. And look, I'm not saying to do it. I'm not saying not to do it. If I know that something may have gotten close to a car, I'll turn on the water and rinse a car off real
I'll
quick.
be honest with you. I've had times where there's people parking right close to where I'm at, or they didn't move, or they parked in my closed off area. I'll go down if I can help it and rinse the car
Yeah,
off
absolutely.
before I even start spraying, and then rinse it off again when I'm done spraying my chemical.
I would much rather explain it to the customer walking out and be like, hey, I just gave you a free car wash.
Exactly.
Say it jokingly. So I saw some pollen on your car.
Yeah.
But you would much rather have to have that little awkward conversation than that insurance claim.
Yeah.
So yeah, foot traffic and then actual vehicles. And look, when we talk about these things, you need to understand that people in general, they don't care about the measures you take.
Yeah.
So one very important thing is you need to have some authority. Number one, cover your own butt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But have some authority, or whoever your remote observer or your hose guy is. They need to have a little gumption about themselves too, and be able to control the foot traffic or the car traffic. Because if you don't, you can end up in a bad situation. That matter of fact, that same building where I was having a little foot traffic issue, early one morning, I put out my caution tape, which is a must. I mean, A1,
Yeah.
the thing you do is put out
Caution
caution tape and sign.
Is your
They
best
will
friend.
save your life.
Caution tape is your best friend. Keep it
So
rolling.
I'm sitting up. I just landed. It was the first flight of the day. I look over, and bless her heart, it was a 60, 70-year-old woman, had somehow gotten under my caution tape and was heading upstairs. And as she was trying to get under the tape and go up the stairs, she managed to fall up the stairs and kicked her shoe so far it went onto the top of the stairs. So I immediately go over and help her up. I didn't say anything, but I wanted to be like, now, why? I know you saw the caution tape because you had to go under it, and that's what caused this. I immediately found the company that had hired us to do that and told them, like, look, you can go watch it on videotape or whatever. And the first thing he says is, did you have your tape up? And I was like, well, actually, the caution tape's kind of what caused it. She was going under it to, go upstairs, as that was the shortest walk. And he said, well, you're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You got your caution tape up. You're fine.
Right.
And, little shameless plug, you can go, we got some discounted caution tape. You can go to the links on our little Amazon associate links, but also we have the signs, personalized, customized signs you can get it little A-frame, and it notifies people that are coming in that workspace, look, be aware, exterior cleaning's happening.
Yeah.
Or you can say, be aware, drone cleaning's happening. And that kind of lets them know that
it's really professional.
There's that and the possibility of, there can be some drift.
Yeah.
It lets them know that there's cleaning happening at a height. The same risks are involved as a man lift as far as overspray. I actually think it's a little bit less with a drone because I feel like in many scenarios I can get closer.
I agree.
Than you can with a
manage
lift.
my overspray.
But just and it offers a little branding. I always love when we can blend safety and branding. But these are some easy things. Matter of fact.
Yeah, it's too cheap. Caution tape is too cheap. Signs are too cheap to not have them. There's no excuse.
Well, and I'll flip it. I'm saying, we're both saying how easy it is.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to take these measures or take these steps, then you're probably not a professional.
I agree.
You probably, this may be the wrong game for you.
Yeah, if you don't want to do that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're talking about the general public not taking heed or, caution tapes or whatever. But, what if it's a contractor is not doing the basic things?
Right.
And, sprays at mama carrying a 4 or 3-year-old with SH.
Yeah.
That ain't going to be fun.
It's not going to end up.
I don't think I want to feel that bad about something. So I'm just going to take the proper precautions to make sure that I have control of the job site, that we have control of the job site. So let's move on. Oh, this is one when I read it, I was like, I think about this, but I guess I don't think about it the way I need to. And it immediately made me go, or think I need to go take a look at our SOP. Adjacent storefronts.
Yeah.
This is big on multiple story buildings that are close to each other, especially in the city. And when you kind of got what we call it, a narrow um, scope that you're operating in, you're looking at a building and cleaning it, and I don't care what your app or whatever's telling you about which direction the wind's blowing. We've seen it in urban settings. We've also seen it at tank farms. Wind starts whipping through there. It's going in every direction.
Yeah, it creates wind tunnels.
Yeah, so you don't know where it's going. So I would be very cognizant of the storefronts around you.
Yeah.
The windows.
People.
You're probably going to get
Got
chemical.
outside seating or something like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then if they have anything else that is sensitive, their shrubbery, their landscaping, heaven forbid they got some type of copper sign or something. I'm sure that's going to be fun.
Right there.
Yeah. Go ahead and patina you some copper. That's always a good way to start the day.
Yeah, always a good conversation.
Yeah. But let's see. What else? A lot of this stuff is just so simple. Wet sidewalks. Your signs and your caution tape should address that, but it may be something we overlook a lot of. Parking garages. I know this is the Captain Obvious statement. If you're cleaning the outside of a parking garage with a drone, make sure that there are not vehicles on the inside.
Yeah, that
you're just blasting with SH. Surely nobody's going to do that, but man,
it's at the end of the day, it is common sense. It helps to have a second set of eyes on the job site to look to see if you missed something. I've done it with property management. Hey, you missed taping this outlet. You missed, covering this AC electrical, unit. You missed putting caution tape around this door. Yes, a lot of it's common sense. Sometimes our common sense doesn't work at 6 a.m. when we haven't had our NOS energy drink.
That's right.
Or our cup of coffee.
Or at the end of the day when you're just trying to get gone.
Just trying to get home.
You're 4 hours away from home and you're trying to get back.
Exactly.
Probably been away for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You want to get back where you can have a nice warm home cooked meal. But yeah, I think that brings up a good point. Don't get lazy.
Don't get lazy.
You may be able to get lazy on some things, but
it's not worth it.
If you're gonna get lazy, make sure it's something that only you get hurt and only your stuff gets screwed up. But when you get lazy and it causes other people to get hurt or other people's property to get screwed up, that's where problems happen. And look, the FAA, they're stepping up their game, but I think it's incumbent on plane and drone community. We got to police our own.
Yeah.
And that's that's why we discuss things like this. All right, well, moving on. Let's see. Water reclamation, chemical reclamation. We're fortunate.
Yeah, we don't deal with that a lot here.
Yeah, you typically, this ain't getting political. You typically gonna deal with it in blue states more than red states.
Yeah.
Or you deal with a corporate brand that they force it at all their locations.
Yeah.
We owe Costco and Walmart.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're gonna make it mandatory. It's gonna be part of the bid. And if you don't know how to do water reclamation, you can probably look it up on YouTube.
It's not easy from what I understand.
Yeah, there's a cheaper way out of it. I don't believe you got to buy the water reclamation big units. If you're down with some redneck ingenuity, it's not hard.
Yeah.
But if you have a doubt and you just secured a big contract, go ahead and invest in it. Get you an official water reclamation machine. If you're comfortable with some redneck ingenuity, there's ways you can figure it out. It's not hard, but it is something that you need to, when you're bidding on a job, you better read that fine print, because you may be somewhere like Mississippi and you're like, oh, we don't do that. It's not required. Well, you better make sure that the customer doesn't require it.
I put in a large bid on a parking garage. We were cleaning the outside of it, and the parking lot. Forgive me, not the parking. The sidewalks around the building, and it was in the middle of Jackson. like middle of suburb Jackson, and so it was a big, tall parking garage next to one of those big. I think it was right next to the big Trustmark building. And dude, getting an answer out of Jackson to see if they even if water reclamation was required was impossible.
And what's funny about that is, for those of you who don't know, we're talking about Jackson, Mississippi. They've had a Flint level water crisis for Lord knows how many years. And what's crazy about it is, in all reality, you should probably be charging them for
putting bleach in
putting some chlorine, because I mean they pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean the city has to put it in there, and here you are just handing it out for free.
For free.
Yeah, we should be charging them.
Right.
But yeah, just pay attention to the requirements, the scope of work on the RFQs that you are bidding on, or the customers you're talking to, because you may think you're in an area where water reclamation is not a requirement, yet the company that you're going to do the job for, they have that requirement. And a lot of those bigger brands, that happens. So let's see, moving on. What else? I think that kind of
wraps us up.
Yeah, it kind of wraps it up. Well, one more, and this was tough. You're abort planning, what happens when the drone decides that it wants to take the rest of the day off? And, these are pieces of equipment that we use on a daily basis, and we ask a lot of them, or at least I know I'm asking a lot of it anytime I'm on the sticks.
That's the truth.
So, there it comes those times where ever so often, it's time to have a little bit of a tune up, and the drone will most of the time land itself.
Yeah.
And sometimes the controls can get a little iffy on you when it's coming down, if you're trying to get control back. So the guidance there is, always have on every flight, be cognizant of a safe place you can bail out. And I've never had to really deal with that. A lot of times it's where I'm taking off from.
Yeah.
I just want to get back there. But I do think that you need to, if you're flying over something,
mm-hmm.
and you took off from a place that may not be so easy to get back to.
Right.
Be aware of other places to put it down. If you don't lose complete control, but for all intents and purposes, you have lost complete control.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that with the Lucid drone a lot. I've seen video, and I'm not going to call any names of companies.
No.
But I've seen video of other drones that
just fall out the sky, just quit.
Man,
that's scary.
But in a way, it should be addressed already. Your safety preparation in that instance should be addressed already, because you're not going to be flying over anyone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it falling out of the sky and hurting someone. You shouldn't be flying over any vehicles or
you should not.
Anything like that. And if you are over something that the drone falls out of the sky and damages, that's what you got insurance for.
Yep.
But if you can, you need to identify places that, okay, if I have a little control, I need to point that bad boy in this direction. And if it's going to go down,
that's where it needs to go.
You let it go down there. But that we're talking about it like that's rare. In a lot of ways it is.
Yeah.
But, Jared, you fly airplanes. I would be willing to bet that the rare occurrences y'all spend a lot of time thinking about.
We do.
Because those rare occurrences means if you're going home, if your passengers are going home, or if people on the ground are safe. And there's a reason that y'all spend a lot of time. Because when things are good, ain't nothing to talk about.
Right.
Right? But it's when things go south that you want to make sure you've had a lot of discussion on what our escape plan is here, what our safety plan is. So while the stakes may not be as high
with the drones
on our side,
yeah
they could be.
very well could be.
I mean, there was that incident that happened in Florida. I can't remember the exact story, but it was a swarm. It was some type of drone show, and fly a little DJI's drone falls out of the sky and hits like a little 7-year-old in the chest, and he has to go into emergency surgery.
Yeah.
We got the Texas floods that happened. Somebody flying outside of their regulations, and they didn't get proper clearance, and this whoever did this was just ignorant and probably deserves some jail time. They get nosy with their drone, they crash into an emergency helicopter. It didn't do any damage to the helicopter, but like we just discussed, the helicopter had to land and make sure that there was no damage done.
That's just foolishness.
And so that helicopter, who I'm sure, I'm positive, was doing something pretty important considering the situation out there. Now you're taking time, that I can't be out delivering supplies, or I can't be out rescuing because some dummy
flew a drone
into the side of the helicopter.
That's insane.
It makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
But y'all, I know a lot of people who are listening to this, you're smarter than that, but also there's a reason these conversations are had, because some people aren't.
Yeah.
And these are easy things that you have control of.
Maybe it's not that you're not smart. Maybe it's just you're new to this industry, and you just never have considered that these are just real issues that we deal with. Commercial isn't just a bigger residential house. It is commercial for a reason. It is why we charge commercial prices. It's why that we try to brand ourselves as commercials, because we are not just going to wash the building. There's so many more. Washing is 20% of the thought and the effort that go into it. Where we put the truck, how we manage the job site. It is all a lot of moving factors, and if one moving factor is not considered enough or planned out enough, it can lead to a breakdown, at the minimum, at the most a lawsuit.
Yeah, and is it a headache? Sometimes. A lot of this stuff isn't. It's just bad. I mean, you got to be doing something when your buffer tank's filling at the beginning of the day. So you might as well be putting out caution tape.
Might as well.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, have control of your workspace. It's just like anything. You're out working amongst the general public. We're not being asked to do really anything more than what other contractors have to do. When carpenters are working, they have to take the same steps. When janitorial companies are cleaning, they have to take the same precautions that we're having to take. Now, do we have a little more dynamic risk that we have to be cognizant of?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, in the eyes of the general public, sure. But you're a commercial drone cleaner. This is within the scope of the risk that you signed up for.
Yep.
So it is what it is. There are responsibilities that come with this. Hey, man, it's not all glitz and glamour and pretty women that come after us. Isn't that right?
That is true.
So anyways, guys, I think that's going to about wrap us up. Hey, look, little thing that we like to do, go subscribe. Go subscribe to the channel. We out here, I'm trying to feed youngins. Jared hadn't eaten in 3 or 4 days.
Been a minute.
Yep. Go subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. And in the comment section, I think it'll be a pinned comment, but also in the video description, check out the Vercel link. And we'll have other links where you can go and check out the products and the gear that we use. Some very important stuff, some very trivial stuff. Some is just some of our guilty pleasures, like the nice energy drinks that I drink that Jared mentioned earlier in the show. A little under the table shot he took at me.
It was.
But anyhow, folks, we appreciate it. And that will wrap up episode 6 of Flyby Shine Presents, a drone cleaning show. And we are landing this thing.